Hello there, adventurers, and welcome to Wildemount. Today we're going to build an Echo Knight Fighter. Now this is a brand new 5th edition D&D subclass that you can find in Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. Now in today's video, I'm going to share with you the character backstory that I have come up with, and then we're going to create this character as a level 1 fighter. We're going to advance them up to level 3, where we get the Echo Knight abilities, and we're going to talk about those, and then we're going to advance this character up a few more levels so we can talk about some other choices that I made and a few more of those Echo Knight abilities. So I'd like to introduce to you to this character named Gray, and they are an Earth Genasi Echo Knight fighter. Before we get started, just a reminder, if you've not joined our Discord yet, I highly encourage you to do so. Come on over and hang out with me and a lot of cool folks that know a lot about D&D. And if you're enjoying this type of content, please consider supporting the channel by hitting that subscribe button and buying my PDFs and books on Drive-Thru RPG. Now, if you'd like to follow along with today's build, don't forget that I post all of the PDFs for every level that we talk about today on my website, walladm.com, and you can find the links to that below. So with that being said, let's dig into the backstory of our Echo Knight fighter. My apologies in advance, I'm going to mess up a few of these words, but here we go. An outlander in the Vermilion Wildwood, Gray, in Earth Genasi, was content with life in their single hut and living off the land. A few months ago, however, Gray began to have vivid dreams and visions of a small village being burnt to the ground and innocent humanoids' lives being taken. The visions seemed to focus on a particular family of dark elves, and they could see the faces of these drow much clearer than any other part of the vision. The episodes always ended with a bright, soothing light emanating from a beacon in the shape of a dodecahedron, which is a 12-sided, three-dimensional item with each side in the shape of a pentagram, kind of like your D12. One evening, while out patrolling their area, Gray stumbled upon a scene that entailed 3 drow elves trying frantically to free a younger dark elf from the web of a spider. Traveling down its intricate web, a giant spider prepared to drive the 3 away from its future meal. Gray had a momentary inner struggle to let them fend for themselves, but upon further study, realized that this group of dark elves was the same as the family in their vision. Gray leapt into battle, helped fight off the spider, and helped free the young dark-skinned elf. Gray noticed that each traveler was wearing a dodecahedron amulet around their neck, the same one that was in their visions. The Dark Elves invited Gray to join them, and they accepted. Along the journey, the elves told tales of the Kryn Dynasty, and that the dodecahedron amulets represented the bright light of their deity, the Luxon. Gray became fascinated with the Luxon and joined the Kryn Dynasty. They quickly learned of Dunamis, a magical energy that manipulates gravity, time, and reality, and enhanced their knowledge of combat to focus on its powers. Gray enlisted as one of the protectors of this small village, but also acknowledges that they may have to adventure forth to continue learning and gather information, weapons, and allies. Alright, so let's take a look at Gray, our Echo Knight fighter, at first level. So here we are with our first level fighter. Now we don't get Echo Knight abilities until level 3, but a few of the decisions that I make on level 1 and level 2 are going to go up to how I want to play this character as an Echo Knight. And we're going to start off right away by taking a look at the race, which is in Earth Genasi. Now I chose Earth Genasi for a couple of reasons. One of them is a little bit more thematic, and we'll talk about that more when we reach level 3, but the other reason is because of the ability modifiers. As far as being an Earth Genasi, we get a +2 to Constitution and a +1 to Strength. So this race makes it very good for an Echo Knight fighter. And with that in mind, I use the standard array, putting a 15 into Strength. Our racial modifier puts us at 16, giving us a +3, very good. And a +2 in Constitution takes our 14 also up to a 16, and again, that is very good, a +3 modifier. The rest of the stats, I decided to make Intelligence our dump stat, 13 in Wisdom, 12 in Dex, and 10 in Charisma. Not a whole lot of thought about putting those abilities in other directions. The Dexterity isn't as important because we will be wearing heavy armor, and Dexterity will not affect our armor class with heavy armor, but it does help us with a few of our abilities as well as initiative and saving throws. So speaking of heavy armor, we have an armor class of 16 because we are wearing a chainmail. As an Earth Genasi, we get 2 languages, Common and Primordial. And musical instrument, I just went way off key and threw piano in there. I really don't plan on that musical proficiency coming into play at any time. We get 13 starting hit points. That is a big help from our Constitution modifier. And looking over here to the right, some of our character traits. If you look at bonds, this is one I chose directly out of the book for the Outlander background, and I felt that it was cool enough to tie into my backstory. I suffer awful visions of a coming disaster and will do anything to prevent it. And again, that is going to be my character's drive, that they keep seeing this family and this village being destroyed in a fire, and when this family comes up and they encounter each other in the woods, then Gray feels obligated or feels this pull towards this drow family to join them and to see if they can't help protect this family. Next, let's talk about our first level fighter abilities. First off, we get to pick a fighting style, and out of the options, I chose Great Weapon Fighting for our Echo Knight. Now, what Great Weapon Fighting is when we roll a 1 or a 2 on a damage die for an attack made with a two-handed melee weapon, we can re-roll that die. Now, of course, we do have to take that new roll. So what I thought I would pair this up with is the Maul and the Greatsword. And those are both two-handed heavy weapons, so you do have to use them with 2 hands. And they do an interesting amount of damage. 2d6, so you get to roll 2 6-sided die, plus add our strength modifier of +3. Now the great part about that is if we roll a 1 or a 2 on either die, we can re-roll either one of them or both of them. So we actually get a better chance of causing more damage with a Maul or a Greatsword. Now the second ability for the fighter is Second Wind, and the fighter doesn't really have any spells or healing or anything like that, so the Second Wind is going to kind of take that place. And what that does is we again use a bonus action to regain hit points equal to 1d10 plus our fighter level. Now we can use this every time we finish a short or long rest. So if we are in the front lines, we can use our attack action to attack because that's what we do, and then a bonus action to try to get a few hit points left if we are taking some damage. And since we're going to be using a two-handed weapon with heavy armor, there is a chance that we are going to get hit a few times. Now the last thing that I would like to mention is the Earth Genasi. Now being this race, we get 2 abilities that I'm kind of excited to try. The first one is Earth Walk, and that means that we can move across difficult terrain of earth and stone without expending any extra movement. So if there's like a crumbling wall that we need to hurry up and get through, or perhaps a bunch of boulders that could impede movement, Earth Walk is going to help us get right through there to get where we're going. Now the second ability that we get as an Earth Genasi is a really cool ability. I had never seen this in a race before, and that is the ability to cast Pass Without Trace once per day. Now this is used as an action. It does require concentration, but it will last an hour. And what this means is a veil of shadows and silence radiates from you, masking you and companions from detection. Each creature you choose within 30 feet has a +10 bonus to stealth dexterity. It can't be tracked except by magical means, and a creature receiving this bonus leaves no tracks behind or signs of passage. Now, where this is going to come in really handy is the fact that we are wearing a chainmail, which gives us disadvantage on our stealth checks. So if we absolutely need to get through an area, then we can use our Pass Without Trace. And even if we roll a 1, a natural 1, using Pass Without Trace, we're still going to have an 11. So chances are if we roll a 5 or better, that again is with disadvantage, then we should hopefully be able to stealthily move where we need to go. Now I did consider creating this character to be more dex or to take advantage of this, but I really like the way that it is. It's kind of just a unique ability that we can use when we need to, and I'm not too worried about being stealthy most of the time. So that's all I have for you for level 1. Let's go ahead and take a look at our fighter at level 2. Okay, so here we are. Gray is now a level 2 fighter and has 22 hit points. And the only ability that they are going to get at level 2 is an action surge. And that simply states that Gray can take an additional action on their turn. Now they get to use this once, and then they must finish a short or long rest before they can use it again. And that's it for a level 2 fighter. So let's jump into the reason that we're all here and take a look at a level 3 Echo Knight. Okay, so Gray is now a level 3 fighter and has become an Echo Knight. They have 31 hit points, and they're going to gain 2 abilities from this subclass. Now, an Echo Knight, as portrayed in the Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, is a frontline warrior of the Kryn Dynasty. They have mastered the art of using dunamis to summon the fading shades of unrealized timelines to aid them in battle. So what exactly does this mean? I've listened to Matt Mercer's video on Dunamis probably about 300 or 400 times, and still it just blows my mind the level of thought that goes into this. But from what I've taken away from there, and feel free to correct me in the comment sections if I'm wrong, is when you use this first ability called Manifest Echo, what the Echo Knight is actually doing is bringing a version of themselves from another timeline, saying that in the instance of this character for Gray made a decision to do something. Let's say from the backstory decided to help the Drow defeat the spider, but maybe in another timeline Gray decided not to. So there's this echo of Gray that goes off in another direction in another timeline. And so what the Manifest Echo does is it summons this magical translucent gray image of you, and it will actually come to help you fight. And this is just a magical visage of yourself from another timeline. Now this magical translucent gray image, this echo, can be summoned and placed somewhere within an unoccupied space within 15 feet. It has an armor class of 14 plus our proficiency bonus. So at our current level, this echo would have an armor class of 16. It only has 1 hit point, but it is immune to all conditions. Now, if it has to make a saving throw, it uses our saving throw modifiers. Now on our turn, we can command this echo to attack, and we can command it to move 30 feet in any direction. Now this does not require any bonus or regular actions. It's just a free action, if you will. Now we can move it anywhere that we choose, but we cannot let it get outside of 30 feet from us. If it gets further out than 30 feet, then it's automatically destroyed. Now what's really cool about the Manifest Echo is you can create as many as you want. There's no limit to how many that you can create before a short or long rest or something like that. But it is fairly vulnerable, only having 1 hit point, and you're not allowed to move it with outside of 30 feet. Now, what can we do with this echo? Basically, some really cool combat stuff, and there's 3 different things. I'm going to take them a little bit out of order to just kind of demonstrate how this would work in combat. So the first thing we would do is we roll for initiative, it's our turn, and then we can use our bonus action to create an echo of ourselves. And let's say that creature's out a little bit, so we're going to end our action and we have our echo with us. Now on our second turn, we can command our echo to move 30 feet, as long as it doesn't get outside of 30 feet from us, and perhaps this puts it right into the face of some type of a monster. Now that just requires a free action. So using bullet point number 2 here, when we take the action on our turn, any attack you make with that action can originate from your space or the echo space. You make the choice for each attack. So we have our echo run into battle and get into melee combat with this monster, and we can use our attack to originate from the echo. So we don't have to get in harm's way. We can stand back about 15 feet, and we don't even have to get our hands dirty. Now, the second thing that we can do is, let's say, same scenario, we're still about 15 feet back, and our echo is in melee combat with this monster. And this monster is going to try to get around our echo to go after someone else. Well, when a creature that you can see within 5 feet of your echo moves at least 5 feet away from it, then we can use our reaction to make an opportunity attack against that creature as if it were in the echo's space. So fantastic. Our echo is just like us. It can get in there and it can swing with our attack, and it can use our reaction to get an opportunity attack. And the third thing that it can do using the first bullet point is as a bonus action, we can teleport magically swapping places with our Echo at a cost of 15 feet of our movement. So what this is saying is, let's say that Gray, our character, is in hand-to-hand combat with this beast, perhaps using the bonus action to create an Echo 15 feet behind them. And then on the next turn, Gray swings and then using the attack action and then uses a bonus action to teleport back and swap places, therefore putting Gray 15 feet behind the monster and putting the Echo right in the monster's face. So a good way to get out of something without provoking an opportunity attack from whatever we were engaged in melee combat with. Now, the second ability that we get as an Echo Knight is Unleash Incarnation. We can heighten our Echo's fury, and whenever we take the attack action, we can make one additional melee attack from the Echo's position. So what this is saying is we can have both our character and our character's Echo both engaged in melee combat, and we basically get an extra attack. We get a swing once, and our Echo gets to swing once. And we can use this feature a number of times equal to our Constitution modifier, and we regain all expended uses after a long rest. So that's why it's very important to have a high Constitution. So the way that it sits right now for Gray would be able to take 3 additional attacks with its Echo using the Unleash Incarnation. So that is a very neat feature, and again, I do have to remind you that we took the Maul and the Greatsword, so we are swinging with these big weapons. So using our Unleash Incarnation, we can have Gray in there swinging with the Maul to get that +5, and then rolling the 2d6 +3 damage, and then Gray's Echo will get to swing with that Maul for that +5 and that 2d6 +3 damage. So just unleashing some serious fury with the Echo Knight. Now, this is how I understood both of these abilities to work. If you have some additional information, some additional tips and tricks, or if I got something wrong, be sure to leave a comment below. But that's going to do it for us at level 3 Echo Knight. Let's take a look at level 4. Okay, so level 4 for our Echo Knight Fighter, we are going to get our ability score improvement. Now, I've bypassed all of the feats, and I decided to take that +2 ability score and put it into Constitution, so that now gives us a +4 modifier. And don't forget, when you increase your Constitution ability score, if it jumps up to that next category, you get to add hit points from past levels. So that is going to take Gray to 44 total hit points, and that's also going to give us 1 additional use of our Unleash Incarnation. Again, that is a number of times equal to our Constitution modifier, so we can now use that 4 times per day. So at level 4, we have Gray, our Echo Knight Fighter, and Gray's Echo unleashing some fury. So that is it for us for level 4. Let's take a look at our level 5 Fighter. Okay, my friends, here we are at level 5 Echo Knight, and Gray is going to become a lot more powerful. For beginners, hit points are now going up at 10 per level, so Gray is sitting at 54 hit points, and at level 5 we get a additional bonus to our proficiency bonus, so we now at +3, and I have made the necessary adjustments to our saving throws, to our skills, and to our attack bonus. And also, let's not forget that for Gray's Echo, that it has an armor class of 14 plus our proficiency bonus. So at level 5, our Manifest Echo ability is going to give us a fighting buddy that has an armor class of 17. Now, one of the neat features about a level 5 fighter is they get an extra attack, and that means that when we take the attack action, we get to swing twice instead of once. So here is a little bit of the research that I did on the Echo Knight, and I am fairly certain I have it correct, but if I do not have it correct, please be sure to help me out in the comments below. Now, I believe that when we take the attack action, we get an extra attack. That does not mean that we get 2 attack actions. So the reason that I bring this up is because on Unleash Incarnation, which is our ability of the Echo Knight, and Unleash our Incarnation is whenever we take an attack action, we can make an additional melee attack from the Echo's position. But since at level 5 we're just taking one attack action, even though we're swinging twice, this does not increase the power of our Unleash Incarnation. So for instance, if we summon our Echo and we have Gray, our Echo Knight Fighter, go in on a monster to attack, and we have our Echo go in to attack, we can have Gray use the ability of extra attack, so getting to swing twice, but our Echo will still only get to swing once. And I believe that is all the information I have for you. I hope I got that right. I've done a lot of research. This character class is still fairly new, so there's not a whole lot out there, but I am trying to put the pieces together, so hopefully I did it correctly. That is all for level 5. Let's take a look at our level 6 Echo Knight. Okay, so at level 6, our fighter gets another ability score improvement, and instead of looking at the feats, I decided once again to dump my points into Constitution. So now Gray has a Constitution score of 20, giving us a +5 bonus, and that should jump our hit points. If I figured this out correctly, using that +5 bonus, again, that makes it retroactive all the way back to first level. So at first level, maximum would be 15 hit points, and then we gain 11 per level, times 5 is 55, and 15 is 70. So I believe I have that correct. And we will now gain 11 hit points every level. The other thing that our high Constitution will do is it will increase our Unleash Incarnation. So we can now use this ability 5 times per long rest, which is exactly what I wanted. So that is it for our level 6 Echo Knight. Let's take a look at our next subclass ability that we're going to get at level 7. Okay, so here we are. Gray, our Earth Genasi Echo Knight, now is level 7. They have 81 hit points, and they get a new Echo Knight ability called Echo Avatar. Now this one is going to be open to some interpretation on the part of the players and the DM. So let's take a look at it. You can temporarily transfer your consciousness to your Echo. As an action, you can see through your Echo's eyes and hear through its ears. Of course, during this time, you are deafened and blinded. So that reminds me very much of a familiar. Now, you can sustain this effect for up to 10 minutes, and you can end it at any time. It requires no action to do so. Now, while your Echo is being used in this way, it can be up to 1,000 feet away from you without being destroyed. So how can we use this? Because this is obviously not a combat ability. I feel this is more of a tactical and a role-playing type ability. So a couple of things that I can think of right off the top of my head is the first one being espionage. Again, just to remind you that our Echo is actually a translucent gray figure. So perhaps we can get that Echo into a place, maybe have it hide behind something, see something, whatever else, and then if by chance it is discovered, 2 things. Number 1, it's not our character that's getting discovered, and number 2, since it's this translucent gray figure, there's a good chance that they may not know that it was actually us that was doing this spying. Now, the second thing that we could do with our Echo is perhaps create a diversion. We can send our Echo out somewhere while to draw like a guard away or whatever else. Perhaps we can have it just start swinging on something, and then the guards come and rush out to see what the heck is going on. Meanwhile, the rest of the party slips right by them and into where they need to be. So we can use our Echo to spy. We can use it to create a diversion. But what about this? Can our Echo pick something up? Let's say that we wanted to steal something, or we needed to grab something from the villain's lair. Can we send our Echo into this room, grab an item, and get out of there? Which would be very beneficial so that we don't get caught. Can we do that? Can our Echo pick something up? That is the question. Now, when I first pondered this, I felt that no. I would think as a DM, I would say no, this is just a figure that can attack, but no other benefits from that. But then it's like, you know what, maybe I'll take a look around. And I found something very, very interesting that I want to share with you. Here is a tweet from March 17, 2020, addressed to Matt Mercer, who is the creator of Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. Am I allowed to have my Echo do other things besides attack, like carry stuff or push buttons or take items to other allies? And the answer via Matthew Mercer, if your DM allows. So in the comment section below, let me know. Are you with Matt Mercer on this? Are you a DM that would allow your Echo Knight to push buttons, to steal things, to use its Echo to do whatever that they want? They can carry things, they can grab things, they can push things, things of that nature. Or are you going to say that it is just a combat ability or an ability that can be used to see and hear but don't touch? That's all I have for level 7. Let's take a look at our character as they progress to level 8. So here we are at level 8, and Gray now gets another ability score improvement. Now, I could have went with a feat, but there were just so many to choose from. We could have went with Sentinel, we could have went with Heavy Armor Proficiency, or Heavy Armor Master, we could have went with Great Weapon Master. I mean, the list goes on, but I decided to be boring, and I'm just going to add 2 to our Strength score. So that is going to put Gray's Strength up to 18. They have a +4 modifier. I have made the necessary adjustments on saving throws and skills and to our weapon attacks and bonuses. So that is definitely one of my main reasons for taking the +2 to strength, is now have a +7 bonus on attacks and +4 to damage. Again, our hit points are just juicing up, going up 11 per level, so Gray now has 92 hit points. Let me know in the comments below if you would have taken a feat at this level and what feat you would have taken. That's it for level 8. Let's move on to level 9. So here we are. Our Earth Genasi is now a level 9 Echo Knight. They have 103 hit points, and our proficiency bonus now goes up. So we now have a +4 proficiency bonus, and I have made the necessary adjustments to our saving throws, to our skills, and to our attack bonus. Now, the only ability that we get as a level 9 fighter, and that is a little hard to see, my apologies, but it's called Indomitable, and that just allows us to re-roll a saving throw if we fail. We must take the new roll, and we can only use this once per long rest. That is all I have for you for level 9. We're going to make level 10 our last level we discussed today, but we are going to take a look at another Echo Knight ability. Okay, so here we are. Gray is now a level 10 Echo Knight, 114 hit points, and gets a fantastic ability. So with level 10 comes the Shadow Martyr. You can make your Echo throw itself in front of an attack directed at another creature that you can see. Before the attack roll is made, you can use your reaction to teleport the Echo to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the targeted creature. The attack roll that triggered this reaction is instead made against your Echo, and we can use this ability once per short or long rest. So if we have a character that is down and is just about ready to be pummeled by some type of villain or some type of monster, we use our reaction, we send our Echo up there, and that first attack against our party member is going to be absorbed by the Echo. And let's not forget that our Echo has a fairly high armor class. It is 14 plus our proficiency modifier, so at level 10 our Echo has an armor class of 18. Very good, and a very unique feature to help save a party member. That's all I have for you for level 10. Let's wrap things up and finish the video. Now, before we close out, just to mention that our Echo Knight gets a couple more abilities at higher level. At level 15, when the Echo gets hit, our character can absorb that part of that hit to gain temporary hit points equal to some of the damage that it took. And at level 18, we can have 2 Echoes that can coexist. This is a really cool class, and I'm really loving the Echo Knight. So that's all I have for you today. What did you think of Gray, our Earth Genasi Echo Knight? And if you were to build a character like this, what would you do differently? Be sure to leave a comment below. It helps the channel out a lot. Oh, and if you were to multi-class with an Echo Knight, what class would you multi-class into? It seems to be a hot topic going around the discussion board. Be sure to leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. We got some great stuff coming up. And thank you very much for watching, and on to the next. Episodes always ended with a bright, soothing light emanating from a beacon in the shape of a dodecahedron. Gray noticed that each traveler was wearing a dodecahedron. Along the journey, the elves told tales of the Kryn Dynasty, and that the and that the dodecahedron amulets represented the bright light of their deity, the Luxon.